trying to hammer out a funding bill to pay for the ongoing wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Several congressional Republicans are complaining about items unrelated to military operations, and that takes us to tonight's Hypocrisy Watch. First, the background. The war funding bill Congress is considering, about $98 billion, looks like this: $80 billion for the Pentagon, $8 billion to provide a line of credit to the International Monetary Fund, $500 million to help restore Gulf Coast barrier islands destroyed by Hurricane Katrina. House Republican Minority Leader John Boehner said this week, quote, "A troop funding bill should fund our troops, period. I will oppose this legislation if it is loaded up with billions in spending that is unrelated to our military's core mission." Criticism of the bill has also been delivered by Republican Congressman Mike Pence, Jerry Lewis, Michelle Bachmann, and Republican Whip Eric Cantor.
We're out of money. This is money we'll have to borrow from the Chinese to go and honor a commitment that the president had made. In times where we've got to demonstrate fiscal restraint, this does not make sense.
The Republican opposition to this latest war funding bill is interesting because 2 years ago, each of these very same lawmakers supported a war funding bill that also had pet projects unrelated to war operations. H.R. 2206 appropriated $100 billion, including $17 billion in domestic spending. There was $6.4 billion for Gulf Coast relief efforts, $3 billion for emergency farm aid, $650 million for children's health care. But here we are 2 years later, and Republicans now are whining. Let me be clear. I agree, troop funding bills should always be limited to funding the troops. But when you complain about pet projects in a war funding bill just 2 years after supporting a war bill with pet projects, that's hypocrisy, and it's wrong. If you would like to nominate a political figure for Hypocrisy Watch, you can